Hello and welcome to this Beyond Exploring session, and today we're working our way further back in time than we've done for pretty much anything so far as we look at mankind. And it's quite appropriate for me and at least one other member of this team to be looking at this because we're based in East Anglia, where this play survives from. There's quite a high percentage of morality plays, or in fact medieval plays generally, surviving from East Anglia. That's partly because it seems to be a connection with the Abbey at Bury St Edmunds. The monks there seem to be quite organised when the Reformation came around and disposed of the various play texts in their gander bag and made sure that that got spread out in neighbouring households. So this seems to be on the face of it a vaguely East Anglian play, which is always nice, considering that despite the fact that we are all over the country and all over the world to some degree on this live, not live, but this Zoom session, it's quite nice that we're sectioning ourselves down to an area in geography and also in time. This play is from the late 15th century. It is earlier than the morality play we did last week, The Summoning of Everyman, and is in many ways a bit more representative of some of the traditions that we find in other English morality plays of the time. On the podcast, you can also find that we've done Mundus et Infans as an exploring session, and we're working on a full cast audio adaptation of that as well. So we are getting to the point where we will start running out of late medieval morality plays, and you'll be able to hear the tradition in full before they start turning into a sort of more bastard interlude form later on. That's enough waffling from me. Let's meet the team today who's going to be reading Mankind. So, in no particular order at all, performing the role of mankind, all of humanity itself, is...
Hello, my name's Sascha Cooper, and I'm a professional actress and all-round performer based in Brighton in the UK.
And performing the doubled role, there are other ways of doubling this, but we've gone for this one, of Mercy and Titivillus, is...
Liza Graham, actor, singer, and Renaissance text coach in London.
And performing Nought or Nought, depending on how you'd like to pronounce it, is...
Hi, I'm Rob, and I am the other East Anglian. I live just outside Ely in Cambridgeshire.
And performing nowadays is, from slightly further afield...
Hi, I'm Tom Straszewski. I'm a professional director based in York, works mostly on medieval plays.
And performing the role of Mischief is...
Hello, I'm Fiona Thraille. I'm a voice actor and narrator, and yes, that. Thank you.
And finally, because I think we're, performing the role of New-Guise as well, is...
Hi, I'm Greg, and I'm from Stratford-on-Avon.
Fabulous. And I am, as ever, unannounced. I am Robert Crighton. I'm going to be reading the few stage directions that there are and inferring some more as we go, as we try and get a sense of how this play works, and also tidying up our rehearsal script for future recording further down the line. So, the play opens with the character of Mercy. So, Mercy, please take the stage.
The very founder and beginner of our first creation, among us sinful wretches he oweth to be magnified, that for our disobedience he had none indignation to send his own son to be torn and crucified. Our obsequious service to him should be applied, where he was Lord of all and made all thing of naught, for the sinful sinner to have him revived, and for his redemption set his own son at naught. That may be said and verified, mankind was dear bought. By the piteous death of Jesu he had his remedy. He was purged of his default that wretchedly had wrought, by his glorious passion, that blessed lavatory. O sovereigns, I beseech you your conditions to rectify, and with humility and reverence to have a remotion to this blessed prince, that our nature doth glorify, that ye may be participable of his retribution. I have been the very mean for your restitution. Mercy is my name, that mourneth for your offense. Divert not yourself in time of temptation, that ye may be acceptable to God at your going hence. The great mercy of God, that is of most preeminence, by meditation of Our Lady, that is ever abundant to the sinful creature that will repent his negligence, I pray God at your most need that mercy be your defendant. In good works, I advise you, sovereigns, to be perseverant, to purify your souls that they be not corrupt, for your ghostly enemy will make his avaunt your good conditions if he may interrupt. O ye sovereigns that sit, and ye brethren that stand right up, prick not your felicities in things transitory. Behold not the earth, but lift your eye up. See how the head the members daily do magnify. Who is the head? Forsooth, I shall you certify, I mean our Saviour, that was likened to a lamb, and his saints be the members that daily he doth satisfy with the precious river that runneth from his womb. There is none such food by water nor by land, so precious, so glorious, so needful to our intent. For it hath dissolved mankind from the bitter bond of the mortal enemy, that venomous serpent, from the which God preserve you all at the last judgment. For sickerly there shall be a straight examination, the corn shall be saved, the chaff shall be brent. I beseech you heartily, have this premeditation.
And enter Mischief.
I beseech you heartily, leave your calculation, leave your chaff, leave your corn, leave your dalliation. Your wit is little, your head is mickle, ye are full of predication. But, sir, I pray you this question to clarify. Drift, raff, mishmash, some was corn and some was chaff. My dame said my name was Raff. Unshut your lock and taken half a penny.
Why come ye here, brother? Ye were not desired.
For a winter corn thresher, sir, I have hired. And ye said the corn should be saved and the chaff should be fired. And he proveth nay, as it showeth by this verse. Corn serveth breadibus, chaff horsibus, straw firibusque. This is as much to say to your lewd understanding as the corn shall serve to bread at the next baking, chaff horsibus et reliquid. The chaff to horse shall be good produce. When a man is for cold, the straw may be brent, and so forth, etc.
Avoid, good brother. Ye been culpable to interrupt thus my talking delectable.
Sir, I have neither horse nor saddle, therefore I may not ride.
Hie you forth on foot, brother, in God's name.
I say, sir, I am come hither to make you game. Yet bade ye me not go out in the devil's name, and I will abide.
And we'll just pause here. So I've noticed a couple of minor errors and or things. So mediation rather than meditation of Our Lady. That's definitely a typo. And there's a that should have been an it. So we have a missing section here, which is why I've paused. And it's interesting, the question of the game that is going on here between Mercy and Mischief, because of course Mercy is doing this wonderful, beautiful, very serious oration, and Mischief is pulling it apart and mocking it and generally ruining Mercy's day. And it's the question of how long the missing section is here and how much this game potentially could be played. It is my personal opinion, I will briefly give my personal opinion, that actually Mischief just continually gets in the way of Mercy by being Mischief. And, because what happens when we come to the other end of the missing section is Mischief has gone, but there are three other characters on stage. And either Mischief calls them forth, or exits first, and Mercy has a moment of thinking, I have the stage to myself, I will continue my oration, and then gets interrupted by another set of characters, which I think is a good gag myself. I quite like the idea that Mercy gets increasingly interrupted by Mischief, because there's a lot of fun in this. that Mercy is allowed to be possibly a bit pompous, and that Mischief is not inherently wrong that it gets a chance to prick its particular bubble. We're not very far in, but any thoughts on my thoughts, because I'm allowed to be wrong.
Well, sorry, Rob, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, go on. No, sure. Up to you.
Okay. Well, the lovely thing about the little dialogue about the wheat and the chaff reminds me a lot of Chaucer's Wife of Bath and her distinction between white bread and barley bread, saying, you know, virgins are white bread, but us wives, we're wholesome barley bread, and people still like us. And Mischief is like, well, chaff is actually useful. You know, you can feed your horse chaff, and then you put the straw in the fire. So even the wicked are useful and fun.
Mm. Excellent. Other thoughts, Rob? I think you wanted to say something.
No. That's okay. I was just saying, basically, I was saying that I think you've covered about most angles that could possibly be. Rob. It was a fairly broad brush you used.
Tom, any thoughts at this stage before we move into the meat of the play? Because in a sense, we haven't gone very far. No, we're good. Okay. We will move forward then. So we have lost Mischief. Mischief has gone. But we have the entrance of New-Guise, Nought, and Nowadays, and there is an intimation of music going on here as well. So it's not, we shall see what we shall see when we reach it. So go New-Guise.
And ho, minstrels, play the common trace, lay on with thy bales to this belly breast.
I put case, I break my neck, how then?
I give no force by Saint Anne. Nowadays, leap about lively, thou art a white man. Let us be merry while we be here.
Shall I break my neck to show you sport?
Therefore ever beware of thy report.
I beshrew you all. Here is a shrewd sort. Have there at them with a merry cheer.
And here they dance. Mercy saith,
Do way this revel, sirs, do way.
Do way, good Adam, do way. This is no part of my play.
Yes, marry, I pray you, for I love not this revelling. Come forth, good father, I pray you, by a little you may essay. Anon, off with your clothes. If he will pray, go to. I have had a pretty Scotland.
Nay, brother, I will not dance.
If ye will, sir, my brother will make you to prance.
With all my heart, sir. If I may you advance, you may essay by a little trace.
Yea, sir, will ye do well? Trace not with them by my counsel, for I have traced somewhat to fail. I tell you, it is a narrow space. But, sir, I trow, of us three I heard you speak.
Christ curse have ye, therefore, for I was in sleep.
I have the cup in my hand, ready to go to meat. Therefore, sir, curtly greet you well.
Few words, few and well set.
Sir, it is the New-Guise and the New-Jet. Many words and shortly set. This is the New-Guise every deal.
Lady, help, how wretches delight in their simple ways.
Say naught again the New-Guise nowadays. Thou shalt find us shrews at all essays. Beware, you may soon lick a buffet.
He was well occupied that brought you hither.
I heard you call new guys, nowadays Nought, all these three together. And if you say that I lie, I shall make you to slither low, take you here a trepid.
Say me your names, I know you not.
Now, a Nought in turn. New-Guise I, nowadays I...
Nowadays I.
Ah, yes. So that's a
I was about to say.
layout error. I apologise. Now a Nought in turn. So yeah. So say your names. New-Guise I nowadays I Nought. So apologies there. New-Guise I nowadays I Now,
So who was the now and Nought in turn then? Is
Well,
that still...
That's a stage direction, effectively.
Yes.
Should be New-Guise now and Nought, say in turn. New-Guise I, now I nowadays, I Nought. Nowadays I Nought. So it's a pageant. It's a layout error. I apologise. Just say your names in order with an I.
I'll give you say me your names. I know you not.
You guys, I.
Nowadays,
Nought I Nought.
By
Something like
Jesu Christ that me dear bought, you betray many men.
Betray? Nay, sir, nay. We make them both fresh and gay, but of your name, sir, you pray that we may you can.
Mercy is my name and my denomination. I conceive ye have but a little force in my communication.
Aye, your body is full of English Latin.
I pray you heartily, worshipful clerk. I have eaten a dish full of curds, and I have shit in your mouth full of turds. Now, open your satchel with Latin words and say me this in clerical manner. Also, I have a wife, her name is Rachel. Betwixt her and me was great battle. Fain of you I would here tell who was the most master.
Thy wife Rachel, I dare lay 20 lies.
Who spake to thee? Fool, thou art not wise. Go and do that longeth to thine office. Osculari fundamentum.
Oh, lo, master, here is a pardon by limit if it granted by pocket. If ye will put your nose in his wife's socket, ye shall have 40 days of pardon.
This idle language ye shall repent. Out of this place I would ye went.
Go we hence, all three with one assent. My father is irk of our eloquence, therefore I will no longer tarry. God bring you, Master and blessed Mary, to the number of the demoniacal frayery.
Come wind, come rain, for I come never again. The devil put out both your eyes. Fellows, go we hence tight.
Go we hence the devil way. Here's the door, and here is the way. Farewell, gentle Geoffrey. I pray God give you good night.
And they all go out together, and they go out singing. I won't ask you to sing, because I'm kind. Okay, Mercy is thankfully left all alone.
Thanked be God, we have a fair deliverance of these three unthrifty guests. They know full little what is their ordinance. I prove by reason they be worse than beasts. A beast doth after his natural institution, ye may conceive by their disport and behavior. Their joy and delight is in derision of their own Christ to his dishonor. This condition of living, it is prejudicial. Beware thereof. It is worse than any felony or treason. How may it be excused before the justice of all, when for every idle word we must yield a reason? They have great ease, therefore they will take no thought. But how then, when the angel of heaven shall blow the trump, and say unto the transgressors that wickedly have wrought, come forth unto your judge, and yield your account? Then shall I, Mercy, begin sore to weep. Neither comfort nor counsel there shall none be had, but such as they have sown, such shall they reap. They be wanted now, but then they shall be sad. The good New-Guise nowadays I will not disallow. I discommend the vicious guise. I pray have me excused. I need not to speak of it, your reason will tell it you. Take that is to be taken, and leave that is to be refused.
And enter mankind.
Of the earth and of the clay we have our propagation. By the province of God thus we be derived, to whose mercy I recommend this whole congregation. I hope unto his bliss ye be all predestinate. Every man for his degree, I trust shall be participate, if we will mortify our carnal condition and our voluntary desires that ever be perversionate, to renounce these and yield us under God's provision. My name is mankind. I have my composition of a body and of a soul, of condition contrary. Betwixt the twain is a great division. He that should be subject, now he hath the victory. This is to me a lamentable story, to see my flesh of my soul to have governance. Where the good wife is master, the good man may be sorry. Alas, what was thy fortune and thy chance to be associate with my flesh, that stinking dunghill? Lady, help! Sovereigns, it doth my soul much ill to see the flesh prosperous and the soul trodden under foot. I shall go to yonder man, and assay him I will. I trust of ghostly solace he will be my boot.
And indeed mankind does move over to Mercy.
All hail, seemly father. Ye be welcome to this house. Of the very wisdom ye have participation. My body with my soul is ever querulous. I pray you, for Saint Charity, of your supportation. I beseech you heartily of your ghostly comfort. I am unsteadfast in living. My name is mankind. My ghostly enemy, the devil, will have a great disport in sinful guiding, if he may see me end.
Christ send you good comfort. Ye be welcome, my friend. Stand up on your feet, I pray you, arise. My name is Mercy. You be to me full hend. To eschew vice, I will you advise.
Oh, Mercy! Of all grace and virtue you are the well. I have heard tell of right worshipful clerks. Ye be approximate to God and near of his counsel. He hath instituted you above all his works. Oh, your lovely works to my soul are sweeter than honey.
The temptation of the flesh ye must resist like a man, for there is ever battle about the soul and body. Vita hominis est militia super terram. Oppress your ghostly enemy and be Christ's own knight. Be never a coward against your adversary. If ye will be crowned, ye must needs fight. Intend well, and God will be your adjutory. Remember, my friend, the time of continuance, so help me God, it is but a cherry time. Spend it well. Serve God with heart's affiance. Distemper not your brain with good ale, nor with wine. Measure is treasure. I forbid you not the use. Measure yourself, ever beware of excess. The superfluous guise I will you that refuse. When nature is sufficed, anon that ye cease. If man have a horse, and keep him not too high, he may then rule him at his own desire. If he be fed over well, he will disobey, and in hap cast his master in the mire.
We're just going to pause there before we have the not quite re-entrance of New-Guise. This is really interesting. Of all the sort of moral plays and interludes we've done, it's really quite interesting that mankind enters and immediately goes, I need help straight away. It's interesting. It goes straight to Mercy before there's any opportunity to be corrupted or anything else going on. And I think that's quite interesting in comparison with some of the other plays that we've done. We've had Mercy being harassed in potentially a very comic way, and then we go into this before the threat is off stage. I'm just sort of thinking aloud. Thoughts or responses to what we've seen? We're about almost a quarter of the way through.
Well, in a lot of these plays, when we have a dialogue between soul and body, that dialogue is externalized. You have someone representing the soul or someone representing virtues, and then you have people representing various bodily vices, and these people all argue. Whereas mankind seems to be sort of all in one. Mankind possesses a soul and a body and knows that they're at odds. And that's interesting. Often in these texts, the soul is given female pronouns and anthropomorphized as female. But here, we've got mankind's couplet, to see my flesh of my soul to have governance, where the good wife is master, the goodman may be sorry. So in this case, he's equating his flesh to the wife and his soul to a man.
Other thoughts from the room about do you feel you've got a handle on mankind yet, Sascha?
Not quite at the moment. I think it's a bit too early to say with mankind. I think, yeah, you're quite right. He does go straight to Mercy. You know, it's like he's doing the proper deed, but I'm wondering if it's a red herring at the moment.
I should also point out, in a spirit of openness, that this text that we've been looking at has got 4 lines missing that I've noticed so far, which I may mention it and come back to at the end. Otherwise, only a few minor textual issues have cropped up. Any other points before we move forward? Okay. So, Mankind and Mercy are having this heart-to-heart, but we're reminded very quickly that New-Guise is not far away, and neither, for that matter, are Nowadays and Nought, where precisely New-Guise is, as he says these lines, whether from afar, coming on, or what, we shall see. So, they're having their heart-to-heart. Go New-Guise.
Ye say true, sir. You are no fateur. I have fed my wife so well till she is my master. I have a great wound on my head, and thereon layeth a plaster, and another there I pissed my pace on. My wife were your horse, she would you all to some. You feed your horse in measure. You're a wise man. I trow when you were the king's palfrey man, a good horse should be Gesum.
Where speaks this fellow? Will he not come near?
All too soon, my brother, I fear me for you. He was here right now by him that bought me dear, with other of his fellows. They can much sorrow. They will be here right soon if I out depart. Think on my doctrine. That shall be your defense. Learn while I am here. Set my words in heart. Within a short space, I must needs hence.
Now, the stage direction here says that Nowadays and Nought return. Precisely how this is staged is, I think, down to us. So, Nowadays and Nought.
Good never leave her, and that be even anon. I trow your name is Doolittle, ye be so long from home. If you would go hence, we shall come, every one, more than a good sword. You have lovers, I dare well say. To them ye will go forth your way, and have little dainty of your play, because ye make no sport.
Your pottage shall be full cold, sir. When will you go dine? I've seen a man lost 20 nobles in his little time. Yet it was not I, by St. Quentin, for I was never worth a pot full of warts sithen I was born. My name is Nought. I love well to make merry. I have be sithen with the common tapestry of Berry. I've played so long the fool that I am even very weary. Yet shall I be there again tomorrow?
And again, it's the question of whether they've actually come on stage or whether this action is happening off stage or further away. Again, it depends on where it's being performed. Either way, they're not really interacting with Mercy or Mankind. They're doing their own thing. Mercy, however, continues.
I have much care for you, my own friend. Your enemies will be here anon. They make their avant. Think well in your heart. Your name is Mankind. Be not unkind to God, I pray you. Be his servant. Be steadfast in condition. See ye be not variant. Lose not through folly. That is bought so dear. God will prove you soon, and if that ye be constant, of his bliss perpetual shall ye be partner. Ye may not have your intent at your first desire. See the great patience of Job in tribulation. Like as the smith trieth iron in the fire, so was he tried by God's visitation. He was of your nature and your fragility. Follow in the steps of him, my own sweet son. And say as he said in your trouble and adversity, Dominus dedit, Dominus abstulit, sicut sibi placuit, sit nomen Domini benedictum. Moreover, in special, I give you in charge, beware of New-Guise, Nowadays, and Nought. Nice in their array, in language they be large. To pervert your conditions, all their means shall be sought. Good son, intermise not yourself in their company. They heard not a mass this 12-month, I dare well say. Give them none audience, they will tell you many a lie. Do truly your labor and keep your holiday. Beware of Titivillus, for he leaseth no way, that goeth invisible and will not be seen. He will run in your ear and cast a net before your eyen. He is worst of all, God let him never theen. If ye displease God, ask mercy anon, else mischief will be ready to brace you in his bridle. Kiss me now, my dear darling. God shield you from your phone. Do truly your labor and be never idle. The blessing of God be with you and with all these worshipful men.
And we can assume here that Mercy exits.
Amen for Saint Charity. Amen. Now blessed be Jesus. My soul is well satiate with the mellifluous doctrine of this worshipful man. The rebellion of my flesh, now it is superbed. Thanking be to God of the cunning that I can. Here will I sit and tittle in this paper the incomparable estate of my promotion. Worshipful sovereigns, I have written here the glorious remembrance of my noble condition, to have remorse and memory of myself. Thus written it is, to defend me from all superstitious charms. Memento homo quod sine es, et incinerarum revertiratus. Lo, I bear on my breast the badge of mine arms.
Okay, before we get assaulted by the entering troublesome folk, it's really interesting what you're doing there. That you're sitting down and writing out there. What precisely is going on there? Someone articulate that. This badge of arms, this creed, this doctrine that mankind is going to hold sacred. Is that what's going on?
It could be partially a superstition thing, or it could also be something that, you know how sometimes people write down things like charms and protection prayers, that kind of thing, which they keep in a little book. I'm wondering if the reason why he writes that down is just in case he needs it, and the way he actually says that to the universe, so to speak, in a way, to me, that is a kind of activation spell to protect him, so to speak. Well, not necessarily a spell, but it could even just simply be a prayer as he sees fit to activate it. But if he keeps that on the paper, that's in itself a superstition to keep it on the person, lest he should lose it.
Because it's putting it on, actually physically on their person, so it's doing the same sort of job as some of the clothing things we've had in other plays of putting on a demonstrative sense of self, or mission statement. And following on from quite a confusing set of entrances or potential entrances and exits with New-Guise nowadays and Nought, sort of interrupting the scene but not fully entering the scene, and whether some of that overlaps. There's an urgency to Mercy's final speech there when you're going, your enemies are here, they're right over there, you can hear them in the distance. And whether it matters whether we hear any of what New-Guise nowadays and Nought actually say, because it's sort of incomprehensible, apart from the fact it sounds a bit rude. I mean, we've got there's nothing like a bit of the word pissed or in a random text to suddenly go, oh.
You did creep up on me, that one.
Yeah.
But we've even had a shitter at one point.
The shit is coming.
Yeah. We've got there's a very different attitude to certain words. Let's put it this way: in one of the earliest morality plays, they use the C word. It's fine.
Two things, Robert. Just a query on the third line from the bottom of Mercy's speech. Is phone? What would phone have meant then, or is that a typo?
Enemy.
It would have been the plural of foes, like foemen, or
Yeah.
often you get en as a pluralizer.
Cool. Just confused me for a second when I read it. Also, going back and just thinking of Everyman, what mankind is writing, is it what mankind hasn't? Sorry, Everyman hasn't done in that play, like a record of his life.
I don't think so. I think it's more a statement of intent, isn't it? It's more a protection of, I will be. Look, this is my good intent, and to protect me from these people. Is that the idea? It's not. I don't think it's a good deed in the same way. I don't think it's quite the same.
But yeah, it's like I said before. Mankind is writing these in a way to activate a protection around him. And in many ways, if you do a comparison with the pagan sort of movement with their Book of Shadows, they do write down a lot of sort of intentions, spells, good luck charms that they can refer to activate. And there is a saying that if you do write stuff like that down, it's an early form of affirmation, putting it out to the universe, so you get it back in return.
You do get the word spell used for both to speak and to write round about the late 14, early 1500s. So yeah.
Any additional thoughts? I think we'll crack on a bit until we get a bit demonic. So we'll see how we move with. There's these actions should get a little bit more energized as we go, I think. So we have the entrance of New-Guise, and they're not quite intersecting as characters yet. So go New-Guise.
Oh, the weather is cold. God send us good fires. Cum sanctus sanctus eris et cum perverso perverteris ecce quam bonum et quam iucundum quod the devil to the friars habitare fratres in unum.
I hear a fellow speak. With him I will not mell. This earth with my spade I shall essay to delve. To eschew idleness I do that mine own self. I pray God send it its fusion.
And here enter Nowadays and Nought. They're possibly having to make way via the audience.
Make room, sirs, for we have been long. We will come give you a Christmas song.
Now I pray all the yeomanry that is here to sing with us with a merry cheer.
And once again, there is a song here, but we move forward.
And we shall sing it. It is written with a coal, it is written with a coal.
It is written with a coal, it is written.
He was shitteth with his hole, he that shitteth with his hole.
He that shitteth with his hole, he that shitteth with his hole.
But he wiped his arse clean, but he wiped his arse clean.
But he wipe his arse clean, that he wipe his arse clean.
On his breeches shall be seen, on his breeches shall be seen.
On his breeches shall be seen, on his breeches shall be seen.
Holly, 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 holly.
Okay, I wasn't actually expecting everyone to really go for that. Well done, everyone.
I think that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah,
actually.
that was well done, though. Fabulous work. Okay, audience participation song. One that definitely works.
Right, now the left-hand side and the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Canto. Sorry.
Oh dear.
Okay, New-Guise now picks up with some dialogue.
Hey, mankind, God speed you with your spade. I shall tell you of a marriage. Now would your mouth and his arse that is made were married jointly together.
Are you hence fellows with breeding? Leave your derision and your japing. I must needs labour, it is my living.
What, sir? We came but late hither. Shall all this corn grow here that ye shall have the next year? If it be a sown corn, it need be dear, else ye shall live a poor life.
Alas, good father, this labour fretteth you to the bone, but for your crop I take great moan. You shall never spend it alone, I shall say to get you a wife. How many acres suppose you here? Oh, my estimation.
Hey, how ye turn the earth up and down? I have been in my days in many good town, yet saw I never such another tilling.
Why stand ye idle? It is a pity that ye were born.
We shall bargain with you, and neither mock nor scorn. Take a good cart in harvest and load it with your corn. What more shall we give you for the leaving?
He's a good stark labourer, he would fain do well. If met with a good man, Mercy in the shroud cell. For all this, he may have many a hungry meal, yet, well, ye see, he is politic. Here shall be good corn, he may not miss it. If he will have rain, he may overpiss it. And if he will have compost, he may overbliss it a little, with his arse like.
Go and do your labour. God let you never thee. Or with my spade I shall you ding by the Holy Trinity. Have ye none other man to mock but ever me? Ye would have me of your set. Hie you forth lively, for hence I will you drivel.
Oh, drivel. Okay. Oh, so that should be drive. And
Drive, is it? Oh my God. Drivel.
yeah, that should be an exclamation mark, not an L.
Oh, lovely. Having done the editing of something, yeah, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it's drive, but it's drift because it's drive because it's got to rhyme with wife.
Right.
So with the exclamation mark at the end.
Well, you learn something new, don't you? Drive.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's another interruption, isn't it? It's mankind's trying to do. I'm doing digging. I'm ignoring these people, and once again, these three annoying bastards come in and just drive you to physical violence, which is lovely. Go, hie you forth. Let's have the physical violence, please.
Okay. Hie you forth, lively, for hence I will you drive.
Mankind belabours them with his spade.
At last, my jewels! I shall be shent of my wife.
Alas, I'm like never thought to bribe I have had such a buffet.
Hence I say, New-Guise, nowadays and Nought. It was said before, all the means shall be sought to pervert my conditions and bring me to naught. Hence, thieves, ye have made many a leasing.
Mad I was for cold, but now I am warm. Ye are evil advised, sir, for ye have done harm. My cock's body is sacred. I have such pain in my arm, I may not change a man a farthing.
Now I thank God, kneeling on my knee, blessed be his name. He is of high degree. By the aid of his grace that he hath sent me, 3 of mine enemies I have put to flight.
And he demonstrates that his spade there with this terrifying weapon.
Yet this instrument, sovereigns, is not made to defend. David saith, nec in hasta, nec in gladio, saluat Dominus.
No, marry, I besew you. It is in spadibus. Therefore Christ's curse come on your headibus, to send you less might.
And they exit.
I promise you, these fellows will no more come here, for some of them certainly were somewhat too near. My father, Mercy, advised me to be of good cheer, and again my enemies manly for to fight. I shall convict them, I hope everyone. Yet I say amiss, I do it not alone. With the help of the grace of God, I resist my phone and their malicious heart. With my spade I will depart, my worshipful sovereigns, and live ever with labour to correct my insolence. I shall go vet corn for my land. I pray you of patience. Right soon I shall revert.
And mankind exits, and we have the return of Mischief. Boo hiss.
Alas, alas, that ever I was wrought. Alas, the while I am worse than naught. Sithen I was here by him that me bought, I am utterly undone. Mischief, was here at the beginning of the game, and argued with Mercy. God give him shame. He hath taught mankind, while I have been vain, to fight manly against his foe. For with his spade, that was his weapon, New-Guise nowadays, Nought hath he all to beaten. I have great pity to see them weeping. Will ye list? I hear them cry.
Enter New-Guise nowadays, and Nought probably in great pain.
Alas, alas, come hither, I shall be your borrow. Alack, alack, Venny, Venny, come hither with sorrow. Peace, fair babes, ye shall have an apple tomorrow. Why greet you so? Why?
Oh, alas, master, alas, my privy.
Ah, where? Alack, fair babe, bar me. Abide, too soon I shall it see.
Here, here, see my head, good master.
Lady, help, silly darling, Venny, Venny, I shall help thee of thy pain. I shall smite off thy head and set it on again.
Oh, lady, sir, a fair plaster. Will he off with his head? It is a shrewd charm. As for me, I have none harm. I were loath to forbear mine arm. Ye play in domine patris, chop.
Ye shall not chop my jewels, and I may.
Yea, Christ cross, will you smite my head away? There, we're on and on out. He shall not say, I might well be called a fop.
I can chop it off and make it again.
I had a shrewd recombentibus, but I feel no pain.
And my head is all safe and whole again. Now, touching the matter of mankind, let us have a good intellection, sithing ye be come hither. It were good to have an end.
Oh, a minstrel, know ye any aught?
I can pipe on a waltzing and whistle. I Nought, Nought.
Blow apace, thou shalt bring him in with a float.
And we'll just pause there. I know, look, Liza was all prepared. Mood lighting was set. Because there's lots of little bits of business that I think we should just briefly mention there. So it's the Mischief doing the sort of mother. Oh, where does it hurt? You know, you don't need to drop your trousers. I don't need to see what's down there. Thank you. All of that stuff. There's a suggestion in one of them that's interpolated that they sort of say, what are we going to do next? And that's there's a whispering element before they come and let's have a minstrel, let's sing a song or play on a tune, on a waltzing and whistle. We've had that before, Rob. I think you may remember a Walsingham relic or something. I can't remember if that's something we've. Yes, it is. Of course, it's the Our Lady of Walsingham in Norfolk. Of course. Yes, it's where you go and buy a cheap relic to or souvenir on your pilgrimage.
There's a beautiful little pub just outside the abbey there.
Yeah. And we had that. Was that in Whitty and Witless, or is it? Well, it's in a John Hayward. We've definitely done.
It was in one
of
that.
Before.
I can't remember which now.
Yeah. So blowing on this pipe seems to have an unfortunate effect. So that is that a question about false relics and false things, and I wonder if there's a little teensy bit of satire in there. I don't know. I might be overdoing it. Anyway, let's get into the action of what's happening. So, Mischief, if you would blow a pace, and we'll have some roaring. I won't read the stage direction.
Yeah. Blow apace, thou shalt bring him in with a flout.
Roar! I come with my legs under me.
Ho, New-Guise nowadays, hark, or I go. When our heads were together, I spake of Diderot.
So, go thy way. We shall gather money unto, else there shall no man him see. Now, ghostly to our purpose, worshipful sovereigns, we intend to gather money, if it please our negligence, for a man with a head that is of great omnipotence.
Keep your tale in goodness, I pray you, good brother. He is a worshipful man, sir, saving your reverence. He loveth no groats, nor pence, nor twopence. Give us red royals, if you will see his abominable presence.
Not ye that man not pay the tone, pay the t'other. The good man of this house first we will assay. God bless you, master. Ye say us ill, ye will not say nay. Let us go by and do them pay. Yet pay all alike? Well, must ye fare?
I say, New-Guise nowadays, estis vos pecuniatus. I have cried a fair while, I beshrew your partus.
Eta Vera, Magister, come forth now, your Gatus. He is a goodly man, sirs. Make space, and beware.
Enter Titivillus, dressed devil-wise, net in hand.
Ego sum dominantium dominus, and my name is Titivillus. Ye that have good horse, to you I say caveatis. Here is an able fellowship to tries him out at your gatus. Ego probosic, so New-Guise, lend me a penny.
I have a great purse, sir, but I have no money. By the mass, I failed 2 farthings short of an halfpenny. Yet had I £10 in this night that was.
What is in thy purse? Thou art a stout fellow.
Oh, the devil have thee. Well, I am a clean gentleman, I pray God. I be never worse stored than I am. Shall be otherwise, I hope, all this night pass.
Hark now, I say, thou hast many a penny.
Non nobis, Domine, non nobis, by Saint Denis. The devil may dance in my purse for any penny. It is as clean as a bird's arse.
Now I say yet again, caveatis, here's an able fellowship to tries them out of your gates. Now I say, New-Guise, nowadays and naught, go and search the country anon that be sought. Some here, some there, what if ye may catch aught? If ye fail of horse, take what ye may else.
Then speak to mankind for the recompense of my jewels.
Remember my broken head in the worship of the 5 bowels.
Yea, good sir, and the citica in my arm.
I know full well what mankind did to you. Mischief hath informed me of all the manner through. I shall venge your quarrel, I make God a vow. Forth, and espy where ye may do harm. Take William Fide if you will have any mo. I say, New-Guise, whither art thou advised to go?
First, I shall begin at Master Huntington of Sanston. From thence, I shall go to William Thraille of Hanston, and so forth to Pitchard of Trumpington. I will keep me to these 3.
I shall go to William Baker of Walton, to Richard Bowman of Gator. I shall spare Master Wood of Fulbourn. He is a noli me tangere.
I shall go to William Patrick of Massingham. I shall spare Master Allington of Bartlesham and Hammond of Swaffham for dread of in manners to us quick. Fellows, come forth, and we go hence together.
Saith we shall go. Let us see where and whither. Let us see well where and whither. If we may be take, we come no more hither. Let us conwell our neck verse that we have not had, that we not have a check.
Go your way, a devil way, go your way all. I bless you with my left hand, foul you befall. Come again, I warn, as soon as I you call, and bring your advantage into this place.
And they go out. So, I mean, one of the fun things about this sequence is that, you know, it's the bit where you gather the money from the audience, and it's it's all set up in the text. It's a little difficult to pull out reading it cold in this way, and then to add to it, you can assume that all of the names mentioned and the localities are relatively local or known figures locally, and if you're doing it anywhere, you probably should change those names to someone who's in the audience, who you can go out and bother.
Or indeed in Parliament. or indeed someone in Parliament.
Yeah. You know, that it's part of, again, that game that's going on. And we had mentioned earlier, Mischief was here at the beginning of the game, and that's quite an important thing for plays. You know, medieval plays are often called games. There is a gameplay aspect to what's going on. So yes, everything's scripted, but there's so much room for improvisation and stuff, especially in this sequence, where you can be going through the audience and trying to extract more or less coin. And look at him; he's surely got more money than that. Kind of action and what's going on. The you know, who's afraid of this big terrifying demon that suddenly turned up?
It's very street theatre, isn't it?
Yeah.
You
know, it can. This is a play that can really be played, you know, anywhere, indoors, outdoors, slightly adjusted to whatever the setting is. If, as an East Anglian play, there is a real focus in East Anglia on raising cash. We are really, really quite good at this. You know, you go to York. Oh, that's a massive loss leader. You'll get the money back with the tourists. That's how you'll do it. East Anglia, no, everything has to make a profit. That's the whole point of doing it. And you'll get everybody to buy ale and get pissed, and then you'll repair the church roof. And that's the function of so much of this. How's being a demon going for you? It's done your complexion wonders.
Thank you. Yes, I am totally enjoying this. I quite like reading the best and worst character in this play. Thank you for the assignment.
Well, it is that thing of actually being able to ping between the two is actually quite nice. Be able to play those levels. Any other thoughts about this little sectionette? I think we've covered it all, haven't we? Okay, let's crack on. You get a bit of a speechette before the entrance of mankind. So yes, all alone, you get a speech to the audience.
To speak with mankind will I tarry here this tide, and assay his good purpose for to set aside. The good man Mercy shall no longer be his guide. I shall make him to dance another trace. Ever I go invisible, it is my jet, and before his eye thus will I hang my net, to blench his sight. I hope to have his foot met. To irk him of his labor, I shall make a frame. This board shall be hid under the earth privily. His spade shall enter, I hope, unreadily. By then he hath essayed, he shall be very angry, and lose his patience, pain of shame. I shall meng his corn with drock and with darnel. It shall not be like to sow nor to sell. Yonder he cometh, I pray of counsel. He shall ween grace were wane.
And indeed, mankind enters on this cunning trap.
Now, God of his mercy, send as of his sond. I have brought seed here to sow with my Lord. While I overdelve it, here it shall stand. In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Now I will begin. This land is so hard, it maketh unlusty and irk. I shall sow my corn at winter and let God work. Alas, my corn is lost. Here is a foul work. I see well by tiling, little shall I win. Here I give up my spade for now and ever.
And at this point, the demon goes out with the spade, and of course, you're not able to dig anything because there's the board underneath.
To occupy my body, I will not put me endeavour. I will hear my even song here, or I dissever. This place I assign as for my kirk. Here in my kirk, I kneel on my knees. Pater noster, qui es in celis.
I promise you I have no lead on my heels. I am here again to make this fellow irk. Whist, peace. I shall go to his ear and tittle therein. A short prayer thirleth heaven of thy prayer blin. Thou art holier than ever was any of thy kin. Arise and avent thee, nature compels.
I will into this yard, sovereigns, and come again soon. for dread of the colic and eke of the stone. I will go do that needs must be done. My bead shall be here for whomsoever will come.
And mankind exits.
Mankind was busy in his prayer, yet I did him arise. He is conveyed by Christ from his divine service. Whither is he, trow ye? Iwis, I am wonder wise, I have sent him forth to shit leasings. If ye have any silver, in hap pure brass, take a little powder of Paris, and cast over his face, and even in the owl flight let him pass. Titivillus can learn you many pretty things. I trow mankind will come again soon, or else, I fear me, evensong will be done. His beads shall be triced aside, and that anon. Ye shall see a good sport, if ye will abide. Oh, mankind cometh again, well fare he. I shall answer him ad omnia quaere. There shall he set abroach a clerical matter. I hope of his purpose to set him aside.
And re-enter mankind.
Evensong hath been the saying, I trow a fair while. I am irk of it. It is too long by 1 mile. Do way. I will no more so oft on the church stile. Be as it may, I shall do another of labour and prayer. I am near irk of both. I will no more that though mercy be worth. Oh, my head is very heavy, I tell you forsooth. I shall sleep, full my belly, and he were my brother.
And sleep.
And ever ye did, me keep now your silence. Not a word, I charge ye, pain of 40 pence. A pretty game shall be showed you or ye go hence. Ye may hear him snore, he is sad asleep. Sst, peace, the devil is dead. I shall go rond in his ear. Alas, mankind, alas, Mercy hath stolen a mare. He is run away from his master, there wot no man where. Moreover, he stale both a horse and a neat. But yet I heard say he brake his neck as he rode in France. But I think he rideth over the gallows to learn for to dance. Because of his theft, that is his governess. Trust no more on him. He is a marred man. Mickle sorrow with thy spade before thou hast wrought. Arise, and ask mercy of New-Guise, nowadays and Nought. They come, advise thee for the best. Let their good will be sought. And thine own wife, Brethel, and take thee a lemon. Farewell, everyone, for I have done my gainin', for I have brought mankind to mischief and shame.
And exit the demon. Whispering in your ear these terrifying thoughts. And mankind awakes.
Whoop! Ho! Mercy hath broken his neckercher about, or he hangeth by the neck high up in the gallows. Adieu, fair master. I will haste me to the alehouse, and speak with New-Guise, nowadays and Nought, and get me a lemon with a smattering face.
And re-enter New-Guise.
Make space. For Cock's body sacred, make space. Ah, well on. Run. God give him evil grace. We were near St. Patrick's Way, by him that me brought. I was twitched by the neck. The game was begun. A grace was. The halter brass to sunder. Ecce signum. The half is about my neck. We had a near run. Beware, quod the good wife, when she smote off her husband's head. Beware! Mischief is a convict, for he could his neck first. My body gave a swing when I hung upon the cass. Alas, who will hang such a likely man at a fierce for stealing one horse? I pray God to give him care. Do weigh this halter. What the devil doth mankind here? With sorrow, oh, alas, how my neck is sore, I make a vow.
You be welcome, New-Guise. Sir, what cheer with you?
Well, sir, I have no cause to mourn.
What was there about your neck? So God you amend.
In faith, St. Audrey's holy bend, I have a little dishell, as it please God to send, with a running ringworm.
And re-enter nowadays.
Andrew, I pray thee, brother mine, I have laboured all this night. When shall we go dine? The church here besides shall pay for ale, bread, and wine, though here its stuff will serve.
Now, by the Holy Mary, thou art better merchant than I.
And enter Nought.
Abort, knaves! Let me go by. I cannot keep, and I should starve.
And then re-enter Mischief. All the gang are here.
Here cometh a man of arms. Why stand ye so still? Of murder and manslaughter I have my belly fill.
What, Mischief? Have you been in prison? And it be your will, meseemeth ye have scoured a pair of fetters.
I was chained by the arms. Lo, I have them here. The chains I brast asunder and killed the jailer. Yea, and his fair wife, holst in a corner. Oh, how sweetly I kissed that sweet mouth of hers. When I had due, I was my own bottler. I brought away with me both dish and doubler. Here is enough for me. Be of good cheer, yet well fare the new chevisance.
I ask mercy of New-Guise nowadays and Nought. Once with my spade, I remember that I fought. I will make you amends if I hurt you aught, or did any grievance.
What a devil liketh thee to be of this disposition?
I dreamt Mercy was hanged. This was my vision, and that to you three I should have recourse and remotion. Now I pray you heartily of your goodwill. I cry you mercy of all that I did amiss.
I say, New-Guise, Nought, Titivillus made all this. As sacred as God is in heaven, so it is.
Stand up on your feet. Why stand ye so still?
Master Mischief, we will you exhort mankind's name in your book for to report.
I will not so. I will set a court. Ah, do it in former Justice Dazard.
Oyez, 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 all manner of men and common women, to the court of mischief either come or send. Mankind shall return, he is one of our men.
Nought, come forth, thou shalt be steward.
Master Mischief, his side gown may be sold, he may have a jacket thereof and money told.
I will do for the best, so I have no cold. Hold, I pray you, and take it with you. Nought, scrib it, and let me have it again in any wise.
I promise you a fresh jacket after the New-Guise.
Go, and do that longeth to your office, and spare that ye may.
And New-Guise goeth out.
Hold, Master Mischief, and read this.
Here is blottibus in blottis, blotturum blottibus istis. I beshrew your ears, a fair hand.
Yea, it's a good running fist, such a hand may not be missed.
And goes out.
I should have done better had I wist.
Take heed, sirs, it stand you on hand. Curia tenta generalis, in a place their good ale is. Anno regni regitalis, Edwardi militene. On yesterday in February, the year passeth fully. As Nought hath written, here is our tully. Anno regni regis nulli.
Whoa, you guys, thou makest much tarrying. A jacket shall not be worth a farthing.
And re-enter New-Guise.
To my ways, sirs, for dread of fighting. Lo, here is the feet tail, light to leap about.
It is not shapen worth a morsel of bread. There's too much cloth, it weighs as any lead. I should go and mend it, else I will lose my head. Make space, sirs. Let me go out.
And Nought goes out.
Mankind, come hither. God send you the gout. Ye shall go to all the good fellows in the country about, unto the good wife when the good man is out. I will, say ye.
I will, sir.
There are but 6 deadly sins, lechery is none, as it may be verified by S. Brethels everyone. You shall go rob, steal, and kill as fast as ye may gone. I will, say ye.
I will, sir.
On Sundays, on the morrow, Early betime, ye shall with us to the alehouse early to go dine, and forbear mass and matins, hours and prime. I will, say ye.
I will, sir.
Ye must have by your side a long dapacum, as true men ride by the way, for to embrace them, take their money, cut their throats, thus overface them. I will, say ye.
Ha ha! I will, sir.
And re-enter Nought once again.
Here is a jolly jacket, how say ye?
It is a good drake of fence for a man's body. Hi, dog, hi, whoop, ho! Go away lightly, ye are well made for to run.
Tidings, tidings, I have espied one. Hence with your stuff, fast we are gone. I beshrew the last shall come to his home. Amen.
And we'll pause there because it's quite a complex little bit of business. Well, it's not actually desperately complex, but it's just in terms of the text, not immediately clear what's going on. So we've got a bit of business with this bit of clothing of mankind that keeps going out and coming back with much less material every time. There's this sense of him being almost frog marched through the rites of passage of these people. That is like he's been enlisted to the army by the armies of darkness. Thoughts about that little sequencette, because there's quite a few bits and pieces there.
Liza, you're mute.
I am mute, yes. Robert, I forget what date we are.
About 1470-ish, somewhere, late 15th century.
Okay. I have fashion thoughts.
Ooh, go forth.
During this time, gowns kept getting shorter and shorter and shorter until they went above the male genitalia, and then like codpieces became a fashion thing. So presumably what they're doing is taking mankind's nice old-fashioned long gown and making it into a gown of the New-Guise, because this is very much a These Kids Today play, isn't it? It's a sort of get off my lawn millennial scum sort of.
I like that. I think that is it sort of by the end of it they've turned him into a hipster? Is that sort of
basically?
Turn him around in a chair, he suddenly has a beard and a thing. Yeah, I like that. I think that's really nice. It's the fact that he has very little agency as well. He's tricked into this, and it's whispered in his ear. He's almost hypnotized after all these bad things happen to him. He's a really unwilling participant in this, in a way that he's not being seduced. He's being conned and pushed around. It's quite aggressive what they're doing. I find that really interesting. Obviously very fun, and it works very well for an open air setting. To really bold actions work really well. New-Guise coming on with this rope around his neck, going, they were talking about, will I get away with something without a hanging? And sort of going, oh, that was sore.
I mean, this scene has everything in there. It's got dark humour. It's got the red herring that I mentioned at the beginning coming to life. I mean, what I love about this is that it's unlike the plays that we've looked at earlier. We're actually seeing a journey from pledging to be the good person, but showing the whole thing that man is weak. And it's referring to the whole biblical thing again. When we're tempted, as soon as we hear that Chinese little whisper in our ear, we believe what we're told a lot of the time. And I think it's the simplicity of it which makes this play really, really interesting, dynamic-wise as well, especially as you could go psychologically if you wished to delve more into the dark comedy with these guys here. But actually, it's more like, in a way, if we're talking about the fashions of the era, we're looking more and more at kind of like a Blackadder scenario, comedy-wise, especially with the sort of, again, the dark humour, the dry wit. Yes, you will do this. Yeah, poor mankind. He's always turning into a ball trick in a way, isn't he? But I think it's just such a simple device. Seeing that journey into hell. That red herring at the beginning of the goodness is literally bang, hook, line, sinker. Absolutely interesting writing.
Any other thoughts, Fiona?
I was wondering also at the beginning when he is writing his sort of declaration of wonderfulness, does he also, because he says he wears it, does he put it in his jacket pocket? And then you've got New-Guise coming along saying, oh, I'm going to give you a new jacket. Are they literally taking away his declaration of goodness? And
yeah, it's inferred. Some of the later editions that I've looked at with lots of additional stage directions and things do have an explicit point in the text where they think it's removed. I sort of didn't quite think you can absolutely say where that happens. I think that's one you decide in production. I think you're right. It's that thing of part of that, oh, let me just give you a new gown. That'd be lovely. We'll just tidy this up. Oh, we'll get rid of this.
Exactly.
And that seems to be in there, but I wouldn't want to affirm absolutely where that happens in a precise line placement. Any other thoughts before we go into the home straight?
I'm finding you guys' lines incredibly random to me, anyway. He seems to be giving stage directions himself most of the time, or telling people off stage. It's weird.
Yeah.
Or the dog one, but that lost me completely. I was just like, what the heck am I even talking about? It's like there's stuff going on in the audience, and you sort of it's almost like it's almost like remnants of something that happened when they were staging it. It's weird.
The suggestion again is that that's part of the sort of badgering of mankind, is that you're sort of chasing, giving him a new coat. There, go on, little master. You do what we say. Go on.
Oh yeah, that's
stripping away his old life, isn't it?
It looks like the language of a huntsman driving a hound.
Yeah. And because it's part of the sequence where they're all badgering. You will say yes. You will say yes. You will say yes. And then he keeps saying yes, and go, good dog. Yeah, well done. Have a biscuit. And that seems to be part of that.
Cool.
We have to infer a lot of action here because the text is just pretty much, there are almost no original stage directions in the text, but very few. It's all pretty much just dialogue. And it's that thing of, if we were delving into this in a much deeper way, we would be able to, play around with this, especially if we're doing it physically. I think that's where this text is such a physical text.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's basically said.
If it helps, I think there is a through line through some of the New-Guise speeches that seem random, but it's because it's very, very colloquial, very, very slangy. And slang is the part of language that dates the fastest.
Yeah.
So to us, that's the least comprehensible part. It just has, a little bit of text work. You could find, you would easily pick up what it meant, and then you would be at home with it.
Yes, I mean it's that thing that we're working with something which we'd really, in a sense, need to go straight back to the original text, modernize it how we would want to modernize it. How far do we go with in rehearsal, and finding our route in, and we're just doing a very surface scan of getting a sense of it. And I think we're getting the sense that this is a very lively, alive piece. That doesn't mean we're going to understand precisely what's happening at every moment. Okay, we are pretty much into the closing straight now. The speeches look like they get longer. That may or may not have something to do with the entrance of Mercy. We shall see in a moment. Now, they all of you say amen, by the way. At the end of the previous speech, when Mischief says that little speech, everyone says amen, which is a cue for entrance of Mercy. So that wasn't just Mischief there. So altogether, no, can we have an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
What ho, mankind, flee that fellowship, I you pray.
I shall speak with thee another time, to morn or the next day. We shall go forth to keep my father's year day. A tapster, stow, stack, stow.
And Mischief go with thee. Here I have a foul fall. Hence, away from me, or I shall beshit you all.
What ho, Ostler, lend us a football. Whoop ho, and now.
And they exit.
My mind is dispersed, my body trembleth as the aspen leaf. The tears should trickle down by my cheeks were not your reverence. It were to me solace the cruel visitation of death. Without rude behavior, I cannot express this inconvenience. Weeping, sighing, and sobbing were my sufficience, all natural nutriment to me as carrion is audible. My inward affliction yieldeth me tedious unto your presence. I cannot bear it evenly that mankind is so flexible. Man unkind, wherever thou be, for all this world was not apprehensible to discharge thine original offense, thraldom and captivity, till God's own well-beloved Son was obedient and passible. Every drop of his blood was shed to purge thine iniquity. I discommend and disallow this often mutability. To every creature thou art despectuous and odible. Why art thou so uncourteous, so inconsiderate? Alas, woe is me! As the vane that turneth with the wind, so thou art convertible. In trust is treason, thy promise is not credible. Thy perversious ingratitude I cannot rehearse. To go over to all the holy court of heaven thou art despectable. As a noble versifier maketh mention in his verse, lex et natura, Christus et omnia jura, damnant ingratum, lugetur or eum forenatum. O good lady and mother of mercy, have pity and compassion of the wretchedness of mankind that is so wanton and so frail. Let mercy exceed justice, dear mother, admit this supplication. Equity to be laid over partly, and mercy to prevail. Too sensual living is reprovable, that is nowadays. As by the comprehensive this matter it may be specified, New-Guise nowadays, Nought with their electuous ways. They have perverted mankind, my sweet son, I have well espied. Ah, with these cursed caitives, and I may, he shall not long endure. I, Mercy, his father ghostly, will proceed forth and do my property. Lady, help, this manner of living is a detestable pleasure. Vanitas vanitatum, all is but a vanity. Mercy shall never be convict of his uncourteous condition. With weeping tears by night and day, I will go and never cease. Shall I not find him? Yes, I hope. Now God be my protection. My predilect son, where be ye? Mankind, ubi es?
And we can assume there, I would have thought that you exit at that point and enter Mischief and New-Guise and probably everybody else.
They talk to Mercy, so maybe he isn't gone.
To the exiting Mercy, I've got interpolated here, so it's an interesting question. Again, let's see where it goes.
My prepotent father, when ye sup out ye mess. Ye are all too glorified in your terms, ye make many a less. Will ye hear? He crieth over mankind, ubi es?
Oh, that is to say, here, lie dead in the crick. If ye will have him, go and seek not over long for losing of your mind.
If you will have mankind, oh, Domine, 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 you must speak to the shrine for a kepi coppus, else you must be fain to return with non est inventus. But how say you, sir? My bolt is shot.
I am doing of my needings. Beware how ye shoot. Fie, fie, fie! I have foul arrayed my foot. Be wise, for shooting with your tackles. For God, what? My foot is foully over shit.
A parliament, a parliament, come forth, naught behind. A council believe, I'm afeard mercy will him find. How say ye, and what say ye? How shall we do with mankind?
Touch a fly's wing, will you do well? He weeneth mercy were hung for stealing of a mare. Mischief, go and say to him that mercy seeketh everywhere. He will hang himself, I undertake, for fear.
I assent thereto. It is wittily said, and well.
I whip it in by coat, and on it were done. Now, St. Gabriel's mother saved the clothes by shoon, or the books in the world if they had been undone. Not a coward aspect.
And here Mischief exits and returns immediately with mankind.
Ho, mankind, come and speak with mercy. He is here fast by.
A rope, a rope, a rope. I am not worthy.
Anon, anon, anon. I have it here ready, with a tree also that I have get. Hold the tree. Nowadays, naught. Take heed and be wise.
Lo, mankind, do as I do. This is thy New-Guise. Give the rope just to thy neck. This is mine advice.
Help thyself, naught. Lo, mercy is here. He scareth us with the bales. We may no longer tarry.
Quack, quack, quack. Alas, my throat! I wish shrew you marry. Mercy, Christ's copied curse go with you and Saint Davy. Alas, my weasand, you were somewhat too near.
Okay, just going to pause there. I think it's an interesting element that if we're thinking that this, and it does seem to be designed to be outdoors, that to some degree the idea of going off is a bit of a lie, because odds on you're not going to be able to go off where you're not seen, you're just further away. And that question that, you know, the interpolated stage directions of entering and exiting there of where is Mercy? Well, Mercy is perhaps just slightly further away and not involved in the action. So they're talking and just stepping aside rather than exiting in quite an absolute way. Same with the, Mischief grabbing mankind and bringing him on, and mankind who's really quite desperate, shall we say, at this point. We've reached quite a pretty pass. But it makes sense of some of the business for Nought, for example, who looks like he was trying to have a pee off stage.
I think he might have been peeing on stage.
Yeah.
Just with his back to the audience.
Yeah, I'm doing of my needings, beware how you shoot. Oh, shit, I've just pissed all over me feet. It says my foot is foully over shit. I wonder if that's is shit. Can you use it with piss? As is it a sort of? It's a slightly odd line for it, but the idea of him doing that, and then all the mockery of what Mercy is saying, UBS and the hick, Rob's done Deus hick at the top of Pardon and the Friar.
Sorry.
I'm just thinking because we've got various bits of Domini, and hick. We're getting little bits of sort of standard terms, shall we say, that seem to be being used there.
Also, New-Guise does like to be hung by the sounds of things, because the way I read that last speech of mine, it just sounded like he'd gone and hung himself again.
I think he's just sort of
the quack was.
Well, the quack is yeah, absolutely. I think he's just sort of hinting where you're going, mate. I was here earlier. New-Guise does lots of sounds, does lots of sort of onomatopoeic stuff.
Yeah.
That seems to be a character thing of you're doing the very clowny stuff, the really clowny stuff.
One question, I guess, does mankind actually try to hang himself, and how far does he go before Mercy bursts in?
I did wonder that, actually.
It is interesting because they're sort of just going, hey, they're pushing him towards it. There isn't that much room of, mankind really going into the sort of Wanhope despair area. I mean, it's there because I am not worthy. But there's very little meat on the bones of that, of some sort of despair that would lead him to hanging. Because we've mostly had everybody else. He's a bit robotic, though, I felt earlier, just before he exited. Saw Mercy. There was almost a robotic quality of "I am following orders" kind of thing. I don't know if anyone else felt that. Whether I'm overstating it.
Would this be played though in front of Joe Public?
Oh,
because, they're not going to go too deeply into. We're getting a bit to the point now where they're so overpowered into it now, 30, 35, 40 minutes. Joe Public's most probably, well, come on, get on with it. I want to get in the pub. I don't.
I think you'll find there's plenty of refreshment available.
Come on, either kill him or let him repent.
I mean, I think you're right. I mean, we don't have to go too deeply, but it did feel like he needed 5-6 lines to actually go into what his actual motivation for the scene was.
They say earlier, don't they? Mischief, go tell him that mercy seeketh everywhere, and he will hang himself for fear. Right?
Yeah, it's very impassing, and it's sort of it's fear that's why he's doing it. It's interesting.
Fear and guilt, I guess.
Yeah.
Because if you never have mercy on yourself, this is where you end up.
Yeah. Despair. Okay. Let's. It's pretty much a two-person closing number now, isn't it? All the naughty people have left him there to hang. So it's Mercy and Mankind.
Arise, my precious redempted son. He be to me full dear. He's so timorous, meseemeth his vital spirit doth expire.
Alas, I have been so beastly disposed. I dare not appear to see your solicitor's face. I am not worthy to desire.
Your criminous complaint woundeth my heart as a lance. Dispose yourself meekly to ask mercy, and I will assent. Yield me neither gold nor treasure, but your humble obeisance, the voluntary subjection of your heart, and I am content.
What? Ask mercy yet once again? Alas, it were a wild petition, ever to offend and ever to ask mercy. That is a plurality. It is so abominable to rehearse the worst transgression. I am not worthy to have mercy by no possibility.
Oh, mankind, my singular solace, this is a lamentable excuse. The dolorous fears of my heart, how they begin to amount. O blessed Jesu, help thou this sinful sinner to redeem. Nam haec est mutatio dexterae extelsi, vertit impios et non sunt. Arise, and ask mercy, mankind, and be associate to me. Thy death shall be my heaviness. Alas, 'tis pity it should be thus. Thy obstinacy will exclude thee from the glorious perpetuity. Yet for my love, ope thy lips and say, Miserere mei, Deus.
The eagle justice of God will not permit such a sinful wretch to be revived and restored again. It were impossible.
The justice of God will as I will, him as himself doth precise. Nolo mortem peccatoris inquit, and if he will be reducible.
Oh, then mercy, good mercy. What is a man without mercy? Little is our part of paradise where mercy nay where. Good mercy, excuse the inevitable objection of my ghostly enemy. The proverb saith, the truth trieth thyself. Alas, I have much care.
God will not make you privy unto his last judgment. Justice and equity shall be fortified, I will not deny. Truth may not so cruelly proceed in his straight argument, but that mercy shall rule the matter without controversy. Arise now and go with me in this deambulatory. Incline your capacity, my doctrine is convenient. Sin not in hope of mercy, that is a crime notary. To trust overmuch in a prince, it is not expedient. In hope when ye sin, ye think to have mercy, beware of that adventure. The good Lord said to the lecherous woman of Canaan, the Holy Gospel is the authority as we read in Scripture, Vade, et iam ampleus noli peccare. Christ preserved this sinful woman taken in adultery. He said to her these words, go and sin no more. So to you, go and sin no more. Beware of vain confidence of mercy. Offend not a prince on trust of his favor, as I said before. If ye feel yourself trapped in the snare of your ghostly enemy, ask mercy anon. Beware of the continuance. While the wound is fresh, it is proved curable by surgery, that if it proceed over long, it is cause of great grievance.
To ask mercy and to have, this is a liberal possession. Shall this what is that word?
Expeditious, it should be.
Expeditious, yeah, thank you. I'll take that one again. To ask mercy and to have, this is a liberal possession. Shall this expeditious petition ever be allowed, as ye have in sight?
In this present life mercy is plenty, till death maketh his division. But when ye be gone, usque ad minimum quadrantem, ye shall reckon this right. Ask mercy and have, while the body with the soul hath his annexion. If ye tarry till your decease, ye may hap of your desire to miss. Be repentant here. Trust not the hour of death. Think on this lesson. Ecce nunc tempus acceptabile, ecce nunc dies salutis. All the virtue in the world, if ye might comprehend, your merits were not premiable to the bliss above, not to the lowliest joy of heaven, of your proper effort to ascend. With mercy ye may. I tell you no fable. Scripture doth prove.
O mercy, my suavius solus and singular requetere, my predilate special, ye are worthy to have my love, for without desert and mean supplicatory, ye be compatient to my inexcusable reproof. Ah, it swimmeth my heart to think how unwisely I have wrought. Titivillus, that goeth invisible, hung his net before my eye, and by his fantastical visions, sedulously sought by New-Guise nowadays, Nought calls me to obey.
Mankind, you were oblivious of my doctrine manetry. I said before Titivillus would assay you a bront. Beware from henceforth of his fables delusory. The proverb saith, Jacula prefata minus ledunt. Ye have 3 adversaries. He is master of them all. That is to say, the devil, the world, the flesh, and the fell. The New-Guise nowadays, and not the world we may them call. And properly, Titivillus signifies the fiend of hell. The flesh, that is the unclean concupiscence of your body. These be your 3 ghostly enemies in whom ye have put your confidence. They brought you to mischief to conclude your temporal glory, as it hath been showed before this worshipful audience. Remember how ready I was to help you? From such I was not dangerous. Wherefore, good son, abstain from sin evermore after this. Ye may both save and spoil your soul that is so precious. Libere velle. God may not deny iwis. Beware of Titivillus with his net, and of all his envious will. Of your sinful delectation that grieveth your ghostly substance, your body is your enemy. Let him not have his will. Take your leave when you will. God send you good perseverance.
Sith I shall depart, bless me, Father. Hence then I go. God send us all plenty of his great mercy.
Dominus custodia te ad omni malo, in nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
And we can assume that mankind exits and that Mercy gets the epilogue.
Worshipful sovereigns, I have done my property. Mankind is delivered by my several patrociny. God preserve him from all wicked captivity, and send him grace, his sensual conditions to mortify. Now for his love that for us received his humanity, search your conditions with due examination. Think and remember the world is but a vanity, as it is proved daily by diverse transmutation. Mankind is wretched, he hath sufficient proof. Therefore, God keep you all per suam misericordiam, that ye may be placeris with the angels above, and have to your portion vitam aeternam. Amen.
And thus it ends. Yes, it as I said, the arrival of Mercy meant that the speeches got longer. And also the language seems to shift as well, with this sudden profusion of slightly odd, longer words. Some of them very weird, and it reminded me of, coming much later, John Bale, when he starts rewriting the biblical dramas. He has a certain propensity for using really random long words in a sentence that feel slightly out of place. And I'm starting to wonder, is it some random East Anglian thing? Because he's from Suffolk. So I don't. That's a sideways thought. I don't believe there's an actual causal connection there, but it is a different set of language tools being used there.
It rings to me like it was written by someone with very good Latin, like almost bilingual Latin English, because a lot of these neologisms are very, very Latin-ish.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think that's... Yeah, Tom.
Possible sort of ways of looking at it. One is that it is a bit of a comedy, whether he's using those long words for that sort of rhyming effect and that sort of comic nature, whether the medieval audience would have found them just as slightly strange and almost lyric in the sort of Edward Lear rhyming nonsense, sort of no need for the duck there. The sort of sense of these sort of strange words. I'm reminded actually of the musical Wicked, where all of the residents of Oz have the usual words, but they're all made slightly strange and weird. The other thing is obviously the presence of Titivillus, who is the patron demon of clerical errors, of sort of words misspoken in church particularly, but also there's sort of running theme of blots and sort of inkiness and things being written down incorrectly. And I'm wondering whether there is a sort of a bit of playing around with sort of bad Latin there, as sort of Titivillus' influence on the play.
Yeah, because the three, New-Guise, etc. The guys do use Latin quite a lot and use it deliberately wrongly for comic effect, in quite effective ways, or just almost nonsense noises. I mean, Mischief's blottibus, blottis, blottorum, blottibus, just, and that's something we, seems to be a constant use of sort of mock or fake Latin in plays when you do use it. With lower status characters, that seems to be a constant gag that people go for. It is that thing. You do get the impression that there's also the physical aspect. If mankind is actually there, preparing to hang themselves off a tree, Mercy's long speeches and their conversation there could actually be connected with action of taking off the rope. So it's not just I am doing a big long speech, that there is a connection there. And I think it's a really good point that Mercy makes about, you know, you can't just do bad things and hope I'll forgive you. You know, you can't do bad things on purpose and then just say, oh, it's fine, I'm forgiven. That doesn't count. This isn't, you know, which is a good point of doctrine to remind people of. Other thoughts as we're into extra time and moving in the general direction of winding up? Play overall, how did you find it?
Sounded much better than read off the page.
Okay, Rob first.
Sorry, so it sounded much better than read off the page. I think it would to be done as a piece of street theatre and with a lot of physicality. It'd be a lot of fun. A lot of fun, and there's a lot of room in there for well, I won't say ad-libbing, but serious audience participation and getting the audience involved. Even if they wouldn't sing along with me, but
I think they would. It's such a good audience participation song. I mean, you just can't these days bring your children.
They're just got to repeat the line.
Yeah.
It would be. I think it'd be a fun piece to do. Yeah, so once you get the audience there, and it's something. Well, they're a bit like the Mechanicals, aren't they? The three guys. They can be played way over the top.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're sort of just chaos, agents of chaos, really, aren't they? And,
yes.
And there's so much potential there.
It's as though there are three vices. I mean, I love the mock courtroom that they set up. I think they're a little bit more competent than the Mechanicals. They're just kind of changeable faces that do whatever they have to do to tempt souls. Or
it's that thing of at this first glance they don't necessarily seem too different from each other, but you know, with a little bit of time and rehearsal, you'll get that sense of who they are.
They would definitely be dressed in the very latest fashions, except Nought, who'd be a bit scruffy.
Yeah, New-Guise definitely. New-Guise nowadays are absolutely they're cut of the cutting edge. You know, you've got song, you've got dance, you've got audience participation, you've got fundraising, you've got a moral message at the end. You know, it's got everything.
Panto.
It's Panto.
No, it isn't.
It's true.
Yes.
During Titivillus's speech, when mankind is asleep, at the beginning he says, you know, oh, be quiet, not a word, on pain of 40 pence. And you just imagine the audience just going insane, as they did, you know, for Herod in the Mysteries, just being like, boo, you know, wake up. And
he's behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, so I think he wouldn't tell everyone to shut up quite so many times if an audience reaction wasn't anticipated.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And you know, it's just got so much life to it and opportunities, you know, just and yes, it does have a moral message, but it's not really po-faced in the way that that, you know, other plays are. Later plays, I have to say, you know, the medieval mind is dances around a lot and plays around with the conventions and staging, and you know, the idea of it being quite an open, uncontrolled space, I think, is quite important. That's why those entrances and exits, being too definite about them, I don't think helps. Apart from possibly the entrance of a demon, I think that has to be stage managed.
And there's some tech as well, with the board being put under the earth and the net before his eyes. There's tech with Titivillus.
Yeah, I mean, there's you know, that's where the money goes.
And the tree being brought on with the noose in it. It's like, oh, here's a rope. Yeah, here's a tree.
Okay, final thoughts then before we go off. Any thoughts, Tom? You've encountered this play before, and does what we've said match how you found it?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I love Returning to Mankind because it's just such a. I'm not going to say beautiful, but it is a very vibrant kind of play. You know, you can everybody as a really clear character. You know exactly what they're about. You know exactly what Mercy does. You know exactly what Mankind does. You know exactly what all of the demons and sort of vices are about. And it's also just so earthy and coarse. I love the fact that it actually implicates the audience in the sort of the vices sort of sense of fun. That we want you to literally pay money to see a demon. We're going to summon up a demon and you're going to pay us for it. And we can get away with that because at the end, everybody can say, oh, well, the good guys won and sort of chased off the bad guys. And so it was all right in the end. I think for a modern audience who can sort of say, yes, we'll go off and see a sort of tragedy where everybody dies. We'll go and see a sort of Tarantino film, or I think Mankind always reminds me of A Clockwork Orange, where you've got this sort of, you get the boisterous fun of sort of the ultra violence, and then suddenly at the last, and then you kind of go, oh god, that was actually really quite horrific. It leads you into it. It starts off just fun and it's sort of part jokes and everything, and then suddenly it's brutally somebody bursting out of prison and Mischief saying, well, I beat up the jailer, tied up his wife and kissed her, and it suddenly turns very nasty. The audience can sort of go, well, it was fun to watch, but of course we would never go out and do that. We just pay good money to watch it on screen or sort of watch it in the theatre. I think it's one of those things where it's really quite sad that the last time anybody did the National did a sort of big medieval play, they chose Everyman of all things. And they got these fantastic sort of Mankind here to do stuff with. But no, I do wonder whether it's because it works with a smaller space, with an audience that you can reach out and touch.
I think it is. It's the scale of these things. Is that, you know, you can't put this on in the Olivier. It wouldn't work, and that I wouldn't even put it in whatever they call the cost slow anymore necessarily. I think you probably could actually, but I think you're right. It needs a connection with the audience that these institutions aren't necessarily looking to do, or aren't very structurally able to do, and you know, that is a bit of a shame. I think in that sense, Everyman is a much easier fish to swallow, if that makes sense. It's less anarchic. This is anarchic, and that's actually it's hard to control anarchy.
It's got a better structure to it than a lot of the plays that we've looked at recently. And also, what's really lovely about this is the variance of character, the pace, the wording. I mean, even with that trip over the word that I did earlier, you're right. You know, just to kind of tie back into what you were saying earlier about strange words in certain places, because it tries to trip you up. I think certainly, even if you can read the most complicated words, sometimes you just like, what the heck? You know, it's like you lose place altogether, which, as aptly demonstrated, very easy to do. But that's the sheer fun of it, because it's chaos, but it's almost controlled chaos, if that makes sense. It's
wearing its argument lightly, in the way that the Tudor interludes don't. The Tudor interludes are very eager of going into, you know, the idea and the thoughts, and you know, speechifying is a continuous process, whereas here you are shown the moral story, And yes, there's a summing up at the end, and there are little moments where it's reiterated, but actually it is demonstrated mostly. This is a play that tells things through action, with dialogue, and I think that's a big difference. That I think the moment you go indoors, and you can do much more complex thoughts because it's not going to get lost to the wind. Everyone, I think, goes a little bit too far for 50 years. And it takes the sort of the commercial theatre to sort of pull it back, and pull things back to this more level of anarchy, albeit still quite controlled. Any other final thoughts? Anyone who hasn't spoken? Any, Fiona, anything?
I think I was just thinking on the anarchy side, yes, some of it, especially the coat measuring, coat cutting bit, and also the tree part at the end, you can almost imagine it being done by the Marx Brothers. If you've seen those ones where kind of there's some hapless individual and they're all kind of pushing them into various, that, oh, come on, do this, do that. And they're moving so fast that the person can't actually kind of stop it from happening. There's chaos around them. Yeah.
Rob,
it could work really well physically.
Yeah, Rob, any final thoughts? You can
No,
say no.
Not really. No, as I say, I think it is the physicality of it. If it was staged, the physical, you could really go crazy with it, couldn't you? Make something really big of it. I think also as well, Mercy and Mercy is, I won't say so much mankind, but Mercy's got to be big as well. You've got some long speeches there which do go on a little bit. So they're big characters all through.
And yeah, there's more humanity to Mercy than a lot of speechifying people we've had. And the Mercy can be a bit pompous, but the heart is in the right place, I think, and that's the thing. There's a forgiveness there. So I think final thought before we stop and we go to housekeeping is actually I'd just like to thank everyone for coping, because I have to say this is possibly the worst formatted script that I've actually put out to people. There are so many problems with the script that I've given everyone tonight, and the fact that we've come out and the play has still worked is delightful, because it has been an exercise in a certain failure from my point, I have to say. For those reading along at home, you'll notice many problems. However, on that cheerful note, I'd like to thank all my readers for their work this evening, and hope to see you all again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.